oxygen. Wow, wow, wow. Man, this is gonna be a Lego movie, bruh.
What if I told you that the life of Pharrell was being told in Lego form in the new movie Piece by Piece, a movie we have both seen?
Both watched last night. Just separate from each other. Both of us just simultaneously the same idea of like, maybe I should just fire up Piece by Piece, a Morgan Neville film where not only is Pharrell telling his story in the life of Legos, but Morgan Neville felt the need to Legofy himself doing interviews to Pharrell and the story of Pharrell with Legos.
I don't really know what to say about this movie other than I enjoyed it a lot. I don't really know why they made it other than Pharrell is rich and he can. He can't tell his story in Lego form. I know that there's some rights stuff with Universal getting the rights to make Lego movies, but no, they didn't get the rights to all the brands associated with Lego, just Lego. So they're like, okay, what can we do? What can we do? In comes Morgan Neville. And if folks don't know, he's a kind of a modern legend when it comes to documentary filmmaking. He did Won't You Be My Neighbor? That's the Fred Rogers doc, Roadrunner, the Anthony Bourdain doc, and then a bunch of other stuff. The Love Me When I'm Dead.
The Steve Martin one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
20 Feet from Stardom. Keith Richards. The list goes on. So yeah, he's telling the story of Pharrell here. And it's literally the entire movie is animated Legos. It's a real thing.
It is like one of the most bizarre things that you will watch this year. I'm sorry, are you talking about like Universal getting the rights to Lego but not to any properties? It's now just making me think of earlier today it was announced that Apple is making the definitive Fleetwood Mac documentary, and I'm like, man, if only they had the rights to Legos that they could just animate the entire crew of Fleetwood Mac just all having sex and cheating on each other. That would be incredible. But unfortunately, not Apple.
That's so funny.
Piece by Piece. I was like bewildered by this movie. And the thing is that like I still had like a fun time while watching it, but I'm not really sure why exactly. I think it's just because Pharrell has great music, and especially throughout the first half of the movie, it's like a really tight, like 90 minutes, 93 minutes. And the first like 45 minutes is just like the rise of Pharrell. His start in Virginia Beach, again, all told through Legos, where he has like this insane crew that just were all in Virginia Beach at the same time, including
Missy Elliott,
Pusha T, and, Pusha T and his brother, so Clips, like this unreal crew, and then of course Pharrell,
all Lego. Like I don't know if we need to keep saying this, but like all these people, it's the Lego version of them.
Well, it is a thing that just like bears repeating because it just reaches points where it's like, because there are moments where it does take advantage of the animation medium, and it is like
which
trying
I
to do
love.
Something cool, something abstract.
There's some really cool sequences.
There's also some times where they're just doing interviews with each other, but they're just Legos.
They're like doing the thing you see in documentaries where they're like showing around the house and like hanging out with their kids. It's all Legos.
Legos. I will say, like, outside of like kind of the real insanity of just this project even getting made, it does hit like a real lull in the middle chunk of the movie when it makes like a really like fake conflict about like Pharrell felt like he lost his juice, man. He tried to make music for the radio instead of making his music, and it was like,
well, he had a lot of brand deals. He had like a skateboard line.
Also, that's like 2 years of Pharrell's life. The thing, what makes it hard for like a movie is that Pharrell hasn't really had to, like, no offense to Pharrell, I'm sure he has like in non-theatrical ways, but not a lot of like insane adversity. Like he's kind of one of those things that he came on the scene like a rocket, and he's just continued to have like a positive output.
He also has a lot of life left to live. He's only 51. It's a weird time to do a biopic.
But he's just like, he has a whole thing where he's like, man, I stopped making music for myself, and I started making music for other people and everything else. And it's like, I don't know, it was like 18 months, my guy. And then you just kind of like came back to making other number one hits. But it's all an excuse so that we can have Daft Punk joined the scene. I'm sorry, I'm kind of spoiling a little bit of the life of Pharrell, but it's an excuse to get Lego Daft Punk in there and have Get Lucky be like this big triumphant moment.
Yeah,
which,
it's like the climax of the movie,
I'm
essentially.
here for.
It's kind of the best. It's kind of the best part of the movie. Everything leading up to that moment, you know, him floating around in space talking to Carl Sagan, or even the part right before that where the Lego fish takes over the studio and Lego water crashes through the Lego studio. All of that I thought was great. That's kind of one of the best stretches in the movie.
Can we talk about the end? I'm sorry. This is it got memed, but I really couldn't believe my eyes as it was happening in real time.
Lego Pharrell starts to come to terms with his Lego race.
Just skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want this spoiled for you, I guess. Lego MLK is in this movie, and there's a Lego Black Lives Matter protest.
Yeah.
Including Lego police officers beating their Lego baton while looking at a crew of black Legos. And I was like, I can't believe what I'm watching. Is this real life? Lego holding up a Lego sign that says I can't breathe. I was like, this feels bad. This feels wrong. I don't know what I'm watching right now.
I mean, it's all in the context of Pharrell making All Right
Exactly.
with Kendrick, which they show Kendrick as this like God coming down from the heaven, which is just like, yeah, actually, that's exactly GNX just came out. That's exactly what it felt like. Just Kendrick descends down.
Just descending down.
A baffling choice, absolutely baffling choice. But you know, this whole movie is just kind of baffling. I don't know why they did this or what the point of it was, but I don't mind it. I had fun. I enjoyed it. You know, it doesn't make sense, but I'm glad it exists. I really like seeing Lego Gwen Stefani and Lego No Doubt. That was also one of my favorite moments, is when they make hella good. And you see the worlds of hip hop and pop collide. Lego hip hop and Lego pop worlds collide.
That was cool. The Pusha moment is great, where they do actually. I kept wondering the whole time I was watching it. My biggest thing was like, who is this movie for? Because it's not really for kids. It's not for like experts of Pharrell, because
they try to make it for kids. Like when they have Lego Snoop, they don't have a Lego blunt. It's all just Lego smoke. There's no one smoking. It's Lego smoke,
but also like they get to Pusha, and he's just like fully just like, you know, like after Pharrell left, like I went back to hustling. I was just like out there on the streets, and I was at a bad point in my life. That's like a weird thing to do a kid. Like that's not a kid's idea. And then he gets a Clips beat, and suddenly like they pop off. Like it's cool to just tell the story, and like I really admire what they did, but I was just bewildered by the whole thing, by the whole experience.
I would rather have this than like the by the numbers Pharrell biopic that's just with a bunch of actors.
Sure. Yeah.
Like that would be kind of unwatchable for me. Like yet another musical biopic that just hits all the walk hard beats, you know, and you don't want any part of this, Pharrell. The wrong kid died, Pharrell. That's nowhere near this movie. It's all Legos. You know, we've never seen anything like this. So that alone, I think, makes it worthwhile, even if it's not anywhere close to being a masterpiece or a home run or anything like that. And there were a lot of bits that I thought were really cool and really creative and, you know, visually dazzling. Even the Happy sequence at the end. I mean, Happy is not a good song, but in the context of this movie, it works. Like everything that you've seen leading up to that, and the way they visualize it and contextualize how he makes music and how his ideas flow, and the way they visualize it with glowing Lego bricks symbolizing the beats that he makes. It's great. I thought it worked really well. This movie's not going to make my top 10, but I thought it was a great palate cleanser to the movie I watched before this,